Stop spending your dang money. Stop spending money. My TikTok is infested right now with people getting on here and talking about how they're in so much debt and cost of living is too high and on and on and on and on. And I understand all that cost of living is high, but it doesn't change the fact that your spending habits are ridiculous. Average American has an upwards of like almost $7,000 in credit card debt. Why? If you don't have the money to pay for it now, then don't buy it. I'm not anti-credit card. I have 3 credit cards. Almost all our purchases go on credit cards, but we have the cash to pay that off at the end of every month. I like Dave Ramsey, but I'm not a hardcore Dave Ramsey guy where he said, no, credit cards have a plastectomy because you shouldn't be using credit cards at all. I don't agree with that. There are a ton of points and all that stuff that you can take advantage, but you have to be super disciplined with it, and you can't let it get overboard because it is definitely a slippery slope. And I do agree with the fact that he says you probably do spend a little more using credit cards. As long as you're disciplined, then I don't see a problem with credit cards. But why are you buying things that you can't afford now? A lot of this boils down to is stuff that you want to get to impress other people. I think I read the other day the average millionaire's vehicle is like $42,000. Not driving anything fancy. Yeah, it's a nice car, but they're not driving $70,000, $80,000, $100,000 vehicles. Sorry, but I'm going to say it. I don't believe for 1 second that people can't make enough money to live nowadays. I want to hear, oh, you live in the Midwest. You don't understand how expensive it is on the West Coast. No, I do. I lived in Hawaii in 2023. I understand how expensive cost of living can be. There are more ways to make money now than there has been ever in history. Do anything. The service industry is booming. Do something on the side. When you get home from work, go clean gutters, go mow the lawn like I posted about. Some lady was making $1,000 a week doing people's laundry for them. There's like, you can do anything, just service, and you're going to make extra money. She's still doing it, but my friend Brandy was like buying and reselling stuff to pay off all of her debt, and she's been tracking it on here, so I'll tag. Find you a side hustle for some supplemental income. If that doesn't work, sorry, find a new job. But the big thing is stop spending your dang money.
So everybody says they're not having kids, and every country is claiming the birth rate is declining. But why on earth the daycare costs never drop? So we plan to send our daughter to daycare when she turns 18 months, which is June 2026. So we've been touring a couple of family care and chain daycare, and the price is just so outrageous. So family care are usually on the cheap side. The cheapest option I can find in family cares is around $22,000 per month, and then provides 2 meals and 2 snacks. It actually sounds really reasonable. But for chain daycare, the price range is just whoosh. The cheapest I can find from chain daycare is $3,300. And that's not even including the meal. If you want the meal, that's another $400 to $500 per month. And almost all daycares already have a really long wait list. So if you want to be added on wait list, you need to pay $100 registration fee, which is not refundable. So far, I already paid $500 just to put my daughters on several daycares wait list. And it's not guaranteed she will have a spot. And even though if she cannot have a spot, then will not refund my registration fee. Me and my husband did financially plan for the baby. We saved quite a bit of money and plan to use it only on baby herself. But it still shocked me how expensive to raise a kid, especially by the daycare costs.
I work retail, and the general sense of just disdain and burnout and fatigue that is coming off of the general public is palpable. Like, it's ridiculous because prices just keep going up. They just keep going up, and people complain about them going up, but then nothing gets done about it. And you know what? They're going to continue to go up. They're just going to keep raising the prices because they can. And I feel like this is unsustainable.
Yeah, this comment is absolutely right. Australia is bloody cooked. And then you've got the government saying productivity is down. No shit, productivity is down. If people are working harder than ever, and most people I know, they're working their full-time job, they've got a couple of side hustles, and they still can't afford a house, they still can't have a future for themselves or for their kids, no wonder productivity is down. You know, we have a serious problem when people who are university qualified, and I'm talking like engineers, doctors, lawyers, healthcare professionals, teachers, people who are in really high demand, these people can't afford to live where they are required to work. That is a serious issue. No wonder productivity is down. I think a lot of young Australians are in this position now where they're like, what's the point? I did everything that I was required to do, all these things that were promised to me for following the right path that was set for me and doing the right thing by society. It's actually not bringing me any happiness. It's not giving me the things I was promised. So what's the point? What am I doing? What are we doing? What's everyone doing? Because yeah, at this point, I'm working my ass off to rent my landlord's fuck-ass small mold-infested studio, and I don't know, like, is it bad to want a little bit more for my life? Is it bad to want to go travel and see the world and do what makes me happy? Like, I don't know.
I have not been to Burgerville for a really long time because I don't live in Oregon. But how for 2 12-ounce milkshakes and 1 French fry, 57. But for a full kids meal, chicken fry and a milkshake and then another milkshake, like $60.
With the Heliante, with the Helion, with the Halle Berry, with the Halle Burton.
Oh my God.
It's $92.
Hey, I just left Panera and spent $28. And granted, I could have spent less. The guy said I could have got half a sandwich and a soup, and I would have got some deal. I don't eat half of anything, pal, okay? I'm not eating half. I got a full sandwich and a soup. $28? Isn't this fast food also, by the way? Like, what is happening?
Somebody please tell me why less than 34 ounces of sugar water just cost $4. What?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
You know, I remember a time when eating at the crib was cheaper than buying some food, you know, outside of the crib. And now the shit is damn near the same price. I go to the grocery store, I give me a little meal to cook, 4 little items, $20 goddamn dollars. Ain't no leftovers, bitch, because I'm hungry. I might as well go ahead and give me a little Chipotle bowl or something. Same goddamn difference. Ugh. Lord, when is groceries gonna go down, honey? When is the inflation gonna stop inflating?
Y'all, tell me why I'm blue. So, while I'm in Ross, I pick up 5 items. 5 items. I hand my mama $100. I'm like, I don't want to stand in here no more. So I go outside. She come bring me the change. The change is $5. I get the question to her immediately. $5? This was so. Did you put something on my like? Come on now, cause I know it wasn't $100. Here got my mama a key and a con. A he hell. $100 is insane for some pennies, some socks, and a purse. It's crazy. $100, y'all blew me. That's y'all president, not mine.
I just feel like restaurants that add their own gratuity are bold as fuck. Because who the fuck said you was a good waiter? What if I didn't want to give you 18% gratuity?
There is no freaking way. I just went to go get froyo, where you make it yourself. Okay, I'm sitting there with my little bowl, and I put my ice cream in, and then I move over to my favorite section, the toppings, okay? And I put in some chocolate-covered strawberries, some brownies, and then I move over to the little section where you have to weigh your ice cream, and it gives you the total. And not gonna lie, y'all, that was some expensive froyo. But anything to make my stomach happy, of course. And so I take out my wallet, pull out my card, and I'm tapping it. And it's not working. So I was like, okay, maybe I can swipe it. I swipe it and it's still not going through. And I was low-key getting embarrassed because like there's people behind me. And the worker comes up to me and he's like, it's not going through because it's asking you to tip. I was like, oh. And he was like, press the bottom right corner. And I was like, the no tip? And he goes, yeah, we don't get those tips anyway. The owner keeps them. We don't get paid enough. I was like, oh, but I'm just here for my froyo, okay? But like, I think it's crazy that these self-serve places are asking you to tip and the owners are keeping it. Like, that makes no sense at all.
I'm literally at the airport at the self-checkout machine buying a water. Self-checkout. Who is this even going to? Like, And again, self-checkout.
Reaction time. This edition is grad night.
Do servers ever get tired of complaining about the tips that they get? You know you're not entitled to any of the tips. Like, your tip out could be 0. Tipping is customary, it's not required. 20 to 25% plus in a tip means you are doing outstanding job. It does not mean that you're simply taking the customer's order, dropping off their food, and giving them their check. If that's all you're doing for your customers, no, you don't deserve a 20 to 25% plus tip. Sorry. Honestly, I blame COVID because remember during COVID, we were expecting very little from our servers, but we were tipping out of really just pity, really high amounts. I feel like this is where the entitlement of tips really came from. And I really think that servers should just be thankful that they get a 5% tip or a 10% tip or a 15% tip. Like, that means that the customer said, hey, here's the amount on my bill. I feel like I want to give you additional money to say thank you. Customers' thank yous are met with servers just showing the receipt and complaining that they didn't get exactly 20%. Like, this was a $10 on a $100 bill, and she like rates this like a 4 out of 10.
I saw this post about black people not tipping, and as a black male who served tables for 3 years, I can honestly say that that post is not a lie, bro. Black people don't tip, bro. Like, when I started off, I tried to give everybody the same service and take care of people the same way and expect the same thing from everybody, regardless of race, just because I'm like, bro, I don't know. I can't judge somebody off of first glance. But after constantly not getting tipped after giving great service, and I know everybody think they gave great service. I used to give great service when I was an amazing server. And after constantly giving great service and getting stiffed every single time from black people, I'm not going to lie just because I'm black and say black people tip. One time I had a party of 31 and got $8 that I served by myself. I got $8 out of that table. From then on, bro, that showed me black people don't tip. And it's because most black people don't grow up with people around them who tip. I didn't see my parents tip ever. I didn't learn about tipping until I started serving. So that's just what it is, bro. You can't deny, you can't hate on it. That's just the facts, bro. Most of the time, black people do not tip, especially if you're another black person. Let me know your thoughts on this in the comments. If you serve tables or have served tables before, let me know in the comments.
One thing that'll always be ironic to me is when people want to come up to the bar and be like, make sure you make it good for me. Like, I'll take care of you. And then we'll hit like 20 or 25% on a drink that's like $9. Like, I don't think you quite understand the interaction and exchange you're asking for here. Like, I can understand how you thinking maybe hitting 25% means you're taking care of us for doing something that we are clearly not supposed to be doing. But when your drink is like $9, $10 and then you're hitting 25%, which is like $3 or $4, and thinking that that somehow constitutes somebody giving you an extra $9 or $10 shot for free, that's not how it works. Now, of course, you should never be overpouring, and now, of course, you should never be giving people things for free. But for the hypothetical argument of this situation, what are you doing, sir? Because it's the same people to be like, well, why didn't you do it? I tipped you 25%. You tipped $4. You thought that you should be getting a $10 value for $4. If you are ever going to insinuate that you need to be getting more things for free, then your tip should be at least of equal value of what you are asking for. Because at that point, you're asking this person to risk their job for what? A hypothetical percentage?
Yo, is it just me, or has tipping culture lost its fucking mind? I don't mind tipping at all. I over tip, especially because I'm black, because people think we don't tip. So I don't mind tipping, especially if the waitress or the waiter deserves it. But lately, you walk into the stores and shit, and they be like, all right, can you answer the question? They flip the screen back. Okay, can you? No. Bring that shit back down. No, I'm not answering shit. No tip. I look them right in their eyes. Because before, I was like nervous and I felt like I had to tip because they staring right at you. They staring right at you. They like, yeah, go ahead, answer the question. Which one? Pick one. But now I'm looking them right in their souls, hitting no fucking tip. What? Cause you just took my order. You just took my order. You're at the cash register. You ain't doing shit extra. Like, for real, when did we start tipping the cashier? And then I heard people say, well, that's not you tipping the cashier. That's not tipping the individual. That's you tipping the company. Bitch, this is Panera Bread. They don't need no more fucking money from me. These are Fortune 500 companies asking me to tip the company. Kiss my ass. And the options used to be tip 10%, 15%, and 20%. Remember that? That was the options. Now they start at 18%. Like, would you like to tip 18%, 25%? Bitch, what happened to the 10? So, cause now I either have to hit other or no tip. And now you go to the restaurant and they automatically take out gratuity and still ask for the tip. What the fuck was the gratuity? First of all, I don't even like y'all automatically taking out gratuity. Because how do you know how much I was gratuited? How do you know if I was grateful or not? Right? I let you know how gratitude I was. That's how I let you know that. You don't take out. You don't let me know how grateful I was and didn't just say I took out gratuity. And then for you to ask for a tip on top of the gratuity you already took out, you might as well just start coming with double the money you expected to spend in food. Because with the gratuity, the tip, the offering, the tithe, we got to spend all this money. I'm going to burn this motherfucker.
You know how everyone talks about tipping culture and how it's out of control, and I agree. I was a waitress for 7 years when I was younger, so I feel like I can have an input on this. Today we went to Yogurtland, and it's self-served. You get everything yourself. The only interaction you have with the person is setting it on the scale and paying, and on the screen is the tip already added. I couldn't even find a feature to not tip, and they're just standing there staring at you. Like, so uncomfortable. What are you doing to think that you deserve a tip? Like, Yogurtland either needs to pay their people more, or take that feature off, because it makes you uncomfortable and it makes me not want to go back. That kind of shit drives me nuts. You are not deserved a tip for every job.
Who's out here not tipping DoorDash drivers? You could get anything that your heart desires delivered to your doorstep in 1 hour and you're not going to give a tip. I went down a rabbit hole on TikTok here seeing people complaining about that. Who isn't tipping? I was a server back in the day. I understand some people don't tip or tip low, but DoorDash? You mean to tell me that whatever I want from my phone, I don't have to get out of bed, it's delivered? I don't have to get dressed, use my gas, mileage, drive there, park, look for the to-go area, wait for 10 minutes if it's late, get back in my car, use my gas, use my mileage, come home? I get to sit in my underwear and have the bag dropped off at my doorstep. I am tipping 20%. And if I order something like one item, and yeah, it might just be $1, but no, I'm going to tip at least $5-6 if they're going to pick me up a pack of gum or a bottle of wine. You got to take care of the people who are providing services to you. Come on, let's do better. And while I'm at it, back to my serving days, you got to tip your servers 20%. You're on a date night, you're there to relax, you just got done working 40 hours, they are at work. We got to treat them with respect. You got to tip well, baby. You don't have to do the dishes, the groceries, none of it. You get to sit and enjoy a delicious meal without lifting a finger.
My question is, how do we ever get to the point where we now have to finance our groceries? A buy now, pay later type of thing. Like, what are we doing with our money? What is really going on to where we have to finance our groceries? Because my mindset is if you don't have the money now, how are you going to have the money later? Like, where you get the money later to pay later for if you don't have it now? Are you not working groceries into your budget? Are you not considering groceries into your spending habits, into your income, into your job search, into your everyday living, right? Like, what are we doing? In my opinion, if you're financing groceries, that means you don't have no luxuries. That means you ain't going on no vacation. You ain't celebrating no holidays, no birthdays. You can't afford cable, internet, nothing. If you have to finance groceries, then in my opinion, you shouldn't have no other luxuries going on. Because if you have room and money for luxuries, then you should have money to pay for groceries flat out. Let me know in the comments what's really going on. Or am I wrong?
I don't know about you, but I track the inflation in this country through the price of these. A gas station Polar Pop, a gas station Sody, if you will. When I first moved to this city 5 years ago, one of these bad boys was 59 cents, right? They started slowly going up. They went up to about 79 cents, stayed that way for a while. But then the last year, they have just gone up 10 cents, 10 cents, 10 cents, 10 cents, 10 cents. It feels like every couple days. Last week I got one, it was 90 cents. Now I went in to get one today, it was $1.06. What do you mean this went from a 59-cent soda to $1.06? I get $1.06, ain't the end of the world. But what the fuck? You don't even clean those fountain things. I know I'm getting a dirty, sticky, nasty soda pop. I don't value myself. Why do you think I'm going to the gas station to get me a Polar Pop? And y'all want to inflate the prices on a gas station soda? Don't even get me started at restaurants charging $3.99 for a fucking Dr. P. It's time to knock it off. Knock the prices back down. This is unacceptable. I should never get a gas station soda and have to bring in more than $1. The fact that I'm bringing in a paper bill at all is disgusting. This is for car change purchases, and you know that. I didn't need to tell you that.
I went to the grocery store today and spent $300 on necessities. I ain't lying. Well, I got a big old thing of toilet paper and a big old thing of paper towels. Now, I didn't hoard. I don't consider it hoarding. I just got the big pack. And then I got some canned stuff and some meat and big packs of meat and broke it down and put it in freezer bags and stuck it in the freezer. And then I got the good stuff. I got the necessities of life. I got chocolate and I got coffee. Yeah, because I can survive just about anything, but don't make me give up my coffee and my chocolate. Nobody around me wants me to give up chocolate and coffee. Yeah, priorities. What is it we like, girl?
Chocolate.
Chocolate. What did D-Doll buy?
Chocolate.
Chocolate. Heck yeah, I did.
No.
Oh, you got a scratch.
No, just wait.
And what do you have to do when you eat chocolate?
Brush your teeth with toothpaste.
Brush your teeth with toothpaste. Listen to Val. She's a smart kid.
I'm not finna argue with somebody that only buy groceries. The groceries cheaper when you're not buying them and you eating somebody else's shit for free. That's when groceries cheaper. I guarantee you most people who say groceries cheaper, they not buying no groceries. They not cooking or buying that shit. They eating your shit for free. They love when you got groceries. And you can feed their ass. That's the only time a motherfucker love groceries, when you buy them. But look, you always welcome to come to my house and eat. I always got groceries. I don't be tripping like that. I'm blessed to still be able to eat right now. But, in my defense, I don't be on TikTok shop spending my money on TikTok shop. I don't be on Amazon blowing my money on Amazon. I ain't rich. I'm not rich. I'm not even wealthy. I just have priorities. Y'all do what y'all want to with y'all money. And then y'all want somebody else to buy y'all groceries. Y'all want somebody else to feed y'all. See, I make sure I handle my business. And then that way, the shit that I don't got is the shit that I want, not the shit that I need. So when I don't got it, it don't bother me. I can just sit my ass in my house that I do got, in my room that I do got, on my bed that I do got, watching the TV that I do got, eating the food that I do got, not even worrying about what I can't do and what I don't got. Let's see, when you're backwards, and you worry about the shit that you want, not the shit that you need. And when you got the shit that you want and you don't got the shit that you need, it's hard to enjoy that shit. Can't even enjoy it. You done bought this food, you just spent $80 on this food and came home to your lights off, and you could have paid that $80 on your lights. That food not gonna even taste as good when you eat it in the dark. Priorities. I have certain times that I spend money on clothes, certain times that I spend money on different things, everything and different things at different times. Discipline.
We're at the point now that just about every grocery store is going to be just as expensive as Erewhon. So does that mean they're going to start upgrading the actual stuff in the grocery store to compensate? Or are we still going to get bottom barrel shit and have to pay out the wazoo for it? Just saying.
You've got nowhere else to go. And I think when you look at this, 1 out of 4 people in that grocery store that you go into today is financing their groceries. That's the worst it's ever been, guys. The U.S. government has more debt than ever before in history. U.S. households have more debt than ever before in history. The U.S. government is now spending more money on interest payments than our own military defense. Simply put, debt is drowning all of us, including our government. Your job is to make more money, get out of debt, invest wisely, and get ahead of this and get everything out of what's being devalued through this inflation, which is the US dollar, and invest it wisely.
2 cartons of eggs, 1.5 pounds of beef fajita mix, grapes, and Kerrygold. Cost me $41 freaking dollars. One measly little dang bag. This is highway robbery. I hate getting groceries.
I went to do my weekly grocery shopping, and tell me why a diet of rice and beans plus some grocery bags just cost me $80. $80. And I know what y'all are thinking. You must have impulse purchased something. You're right. I did. Brussels sprouts and hummus. How dare I? How dare I? And furthermore, my greatest sin was running out of butter. I should know better than to think little old me, deserve to have olive oil or butter. God forbid I want a fat or an oil involved in my food. Bread? Why was the cheapest loaf of bread $3? As someone who starts every single morning with toast, this is not sustainable. Because I can't go any cheaper than toast in the morning. What's cheaper than toast in the morning? There isn't anything. It was a trick question. Trash bags? I'm about to start throwing my trash into the lawn and burning it any time there isn't a burn notice. I'm from the olden days, a bygone era where you could roll a cart down the grocery store, and if you filled it to the absolute brim, you would be lucky to break 100. This basket wasn't even all the way full. I wasn't even tilting, carrying it. No, very confidently. Weak me, just walking perfectly straight with my half-filled basket thinking, this can't break 50. There's no way. This isn't even a week worth of food. I start ringing it up. We hit 50 a quarter of the way through. $80. And for the rest of the week, I'm eating rice, beans, toast. I did get eggs, but in my defense, 30 for $10 in the year of 2025, that's a pretty damn good deal. $10 a paycheck, I can live with that. What I can't live with is $3 for a loaf of bread. Are you fucking kidding?
Okay, I feel like a side effect of this current recession, economic downturn, whatever you want to call it, that's not being talked about enough, is I am turning more into a boomer when it comes to spending money. I'm turning more into a Karen, okay? I only have so much money, right? So if I am patronizing an establishment, I want high quality and I want good customer service. I will pay the extra $4 so I can get your homemade brown butter aged chocolate chip cookie. But if you serve it to me and you want to spit in my face for inconveniencing you, I'm not gonna come to your establishment. I have gone into 2 indie coffee shops recently, and when I walk in, it is like I am the Antichrist. It is like when I go up and I say, hey, can I have a latte? It's like I insulted their grandmother. It is crazy. And recently, I've just been turning around and leaving because I'm like, I'm not gonna spend $10 for you to treat me like garbage. Like, I'm not gonna do it.
Next in line. Hi, I just have this bottle of water and this candle. Okay, your total is $64.95.
I've been really hungry the last 3 days.
I bought this jacket on credit since I don't have any savings.
Buying a house is near impossible in today's market, and mortgage rates are the highest they've been in decades.
What the fuck is going on with these car dealerships and these goddamn prices?
I have a serious question. How in the world are y'all affording groceries out here?
It sucks, but people are really drowning right now.
My rent is going up almost $300 a month.
I know I'm not the only one who notices that everything is going up except for the wages of these damn jobs, and we finna talk about it.
Anyone else feeling stressed with the rising cost of living these days? Between the economy crisis and tariffs affecting prices, it's getting harder and harder to stay ahead. I literally just left the grocery store, and staying within budget is feeling so challenging. But I don't let that control me. I decided to take some action some time ago. Learn how to manage my money smarter, not just for me, but for my family. And now what I do is I teach others how to do the same. I encourage you to take charge of your financial future, whether that's learning new strategies or even exploring extra income opportunities. It's time to make a change. If you're ready, send me a message.
Have you been hungry?
I've been starving. I've been really hungry the last 3 days.
So what did you eat yesterday?
I had fish fingers and beans.
What else did you have?
That's it. That's all I had, was fish fingers and beans for me evening meal.
What about lunch?
No. I just fill up on tea.
Paul is 57 and lives in Weston-super-Mare.
This morning, he went to the local food bank in desperation.
Today, I picked up these cans, baked beans, soups, chopped tomatoes are back there as well.
He's had no money for days, and what little food he's had to ration to one meal a day. He lives alone, and in this, the flat's only other room, keeps the lights off as much as possible. Vehicle repair diplomas adorn mostly bare walls from a career ended prematurely by ill health. Paul receives £843 a month on universal credit. He's due to get more on health grounds, but right now he's reeling from a recent hike in rent, now costing £620 a month, leaving him, after paying bills and insurance, with
on average £30 for the month. I'm very lucky that I have a really good neighbour, and she bought me some milk today because she knew I didn't have any, basically, so I can have a cup of tea.
Today's report by the Joseph Rowntree Foundation claims the number of people experiencing destitution in the UK has more than doubled in the last 5 years, almost 2/3 of whom have a disability or chronic health problem.
Do you want some extra milk, love?
Oh, yes, please, yes.
Got loads of milk.
Gareth, who's 55, finds himself at the same food bank as Paul. A welder fabricator until he says a spinal issue affecting his hands made that too difficult.
I need a new pair of boots, yeah? I'll struggle to buy a postcard with a pair of boots on it. Do you know what I mean? It's like, I can't afford anything, you know? Sometimes I have to share a can of tuna with a cat because we're that skin. You get to a stage where you just think, what's the point? You know, this is not living, this is not even surviving. Everything I held dear in the last year since I've been signed off has gone, really.
It sucks, but people are really drowning right now. Looking at the comments for my video about rent prices was like honestly depressing. You know, there's so many people out there that are in these situations, these circumstances where they can't afford their rent. Like some of the prices that people were saying for the square footage that they were getting is insane. And I think this tells us one thing, that a lot of people are struggling financially. And let this be a reminder that you should take what you see on social media with a grain of salt. Somebody just got a new car, they, going on vacations. It's not to say that people can't afford to do these things right now, but just take it with a grain of salt, because most likely they're struggling, they're drowning too. I've even seen people comment down below saying like, oh, should we still be paying 50-50? Should it be the man 100%? And hey, I may tell you a joke, but I'll never tell you a lie, man. Two incomes is more than one, especially during these times. Comment down below what your rent prices are in your city, because people need to see that this is all over. It's not just where you're at. And most importantly, God bless.
Just so y'all see that I'm not lying, here's the bank statement. I went into 7-Eleven last night. I bought a 2-liter soda. I bought an apple fritter, and I bought a bag of pretzels. Those three things came out to $11.36. How are y'all surviving right now? This is no joke. I'm being dead serious right now. To the people that are supporting families right now, how are y'all doing it? I got no kids and I'm responsible for myself, and this shit is outrageous. The maximum I should have paid that makes sense in my head is $7 and change. But almost $12 on 3 items is ridiculous. Does 7-Eleven get things imported outside of the United States? Is there a tariff going on? Because these prices are not realistic. They're not realistic at all. Then you try to go to the supermarket and do a week's worth of grocery shopping. How much you think people are spending right now at the grocery stores for a week's worth of food? No less than $100. You buy a couple fruits, vegetables, maybe a detergent, $150. So my question again is, how are y'all surviving right now? Credit is only going to get you so far. And if your credit is shot, there's no alternative. So for the people that have families, multiple kids, they got a mortgage over their head, and all the other bills that follow, how are y'all doing it right now?
Y'all, look at the cost of living in 1938, man. A new house, $3,900. The average income was $1,700. So you mean to tell me if you had no responsibilities or if you had a plan, you could save up your checks for 2 years and be a homeowner? The house paid off. That's crazy work. New car, $860. Average rent was $27. Tuition to Harvard was $420 per year, movie ticket 25 cents, gasoline 10 cents per gallon, and United States postage stamp is 3 cents. I was going to say I would be living like a god back then, but then I remember it's 1938. I'd be living like a runaway slave, so yeah. Anyway, I thought it would be cool to go ahead and compare some of those numbers to today's pricing. Now, everything I'm about to say is going to be based on average, so it may be different in your area depending on where you live. But the average cost of a home nowadays is $644,750 in the United States. The average income for Americans is $40,000 per year. The average car price nowadays is anywhere between $48,000 and $49,000. Now, according to Zillow.com, the average rent in the United States right now is about $1,813 per month. Obviously, there's going to be a lot more in some places like New York or Florida, Miami. Any places that have a lot of people, rent's obviously going to be higher. Now, one of the ones that was most interesting was the tuition to Harvard University being $420 per year. Tuition to Harvard University today costs $13,000. After financial aid, $86,000 without it. The average movie ticket nowadays is about $12. Gas is about, on average, $3.26 per gallon. California, I'm so sorry. And the cost of a stamp in the United States is about 73 cents. Now, what's crazy is the fact that we went from a $1,700 average annual income to about a $40,000 annual income, which is about a 2,250% increase, right? It sounds pretty good. But it's crazy that the average cost of a new house being $3,900 back in 1938 has skyrocketed to $644,000 in 2025, amounting to a 16,000% increase. Don't ask me why I'm broke.